And good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to wherever you may be. Welcome back to the Rainbow Pitch League. We are closing in on the finish. We are at week 6, and today we have another Verdance match. We have Farah, who's playing Slippy, and on the right-hand side we have Maddie, who will be playing Verdance. So yeah, week 6. It's all pretty serious now. Every loss matters. I believe this match is not a win and in, but the opposite, I guess, a losing out. Like, this is playing for your tournament stakes.
Yeah, I mean, week 6 at
125,
something
I think.
players. 100, I say 125, 126 players. I believe you have to go at least X1 to make top 8. So there's a lot on the line here. What are your thoughts on this matchup, Slippy versus Verdance?
So I think traditionally the assassins tend to struggle a bit into the wizard heroes. You tend to play a lot of reds. Slippy especially focuses less on actually attacking with the weapon, so it doesn't have so many resources available to them. But also you just don't apply that much pressure, so you're giving like the wizard players, I was gonna say warrior, the wizard players, in this case Verdance, time to kind of set up a combo kill as such. And of course, one of Slippy's or Assassin's kind of main bonuses is they usually block pretty well. They have a lot of like defense 3 cards in their pool of cards, so usually they can block pretty well. A little bit less so when it's arcane damage kind of coming through. And then of course on the Verdant side you have like the powerful disruptive cards in your Felling of the Crown, your Plow Wonder, really trying to disrupt Slippy's ability to play multiple reactions for something like a Bonds of Agony. So that being said, of course, you can still, if you get a Bonds of Agony down and manage to like get all the effects, like it's pretty backbreaking and really good at disrupting combos. So it can kind of go either way here. It kind of depends on how defensive each player is going to be or how offensive each player is going to be, which sounds like a really obvious kind of statement, I guess. But yeah, I don't really know how else to put it.
No, I think that all makes sense to me. And yeah, like you said, Assassin is a very resource type deck. Both of these decks, I think, present a fair amount of disruption. So I'm interested to see how it goes, and let's just jump into
Perfect. We'll see you there just after a quick word from our sponsors. We all have cards that we find valuable, be it emotionally or monetarily. And I know as card game players, we love to protect our cards. And that's why when it comes time for me to grade my cards, there's nobody that I trust more than Premier Card Grading. TCG, just like the game that we all love, is homegrown from a small country at the bottom of the world, but is now global and available for everyone to enjoy. With a sleek, minimalist design, metal labels, and a crystal clear case, PCG graded cards just feel luxurious. Me personally, I got my gold foil graded. It just is a reminder of my accomplishments in the game. And also a reminder that one of the guys in charge of the company walked away with a first place trophy. For us 5 players specifically, they have player slabs, which is the perfect way to get your equipment all nice and shiny and protected so you can still be flashy as heck showing off your gold foils. PCG has been a huge sponsor of our league, and this is their 3rd time supporting us and providing their services to our community. We're so very thankful for PCG for their sponsorship of our league, and if you are too, please make sure to check out all of their services across the United States, Europe, Oceania, and Asia. So once again, thank you PCG for the sponsorship. And here we are with the Week 6 action from the Rainbow Pitch League, the penultimate round of our event. We have Farah on the left playing Slippy, and on the right we have Maddie on Verdance.
Yeah, looks like Farah is going to go first here. I'm not sure if she won the die roll or not. I believe this is threatening a mark on it.
And yeah, it looks like we've already got that mark token already coming out. I've noted the mark there. But a quick no blocks here, which is a pretty interesting kind of point to be at already. Like, being turn 0, you could kind of defend out these Hunter's Claves, kind of get cards in the graveyard real quick to decompose. But it looks like Maddie here is happy to just take the 1 and kind of save these cards in case there's a bigger kind of stealth card coming up. Slippy's ability to give every stealth card, or the first stealth card each turn, go again, pretty powerful. And I suspect Maddie here wants to keep multiple cards in hand in case she has to overcommit blocking on multiple stealth attacks this turn, potentially.
Yeah, and it looks like we're just going to get the second Hunter's Clave coming out. Of course, Maddie is already marked. Is that a Command and Conquer?
Yeah. Yeah, it is. I guess not really worrying about any sort of on-hit effect here, just wants to kind of get ahead on this race, get some damage through, and really not give Maddie some time to set up the combo. Like, if you can kind of leak damage through on the first turn like Farah has with these 200 claves, then you're kind of in an okay spot, I think. Especially...
Yeah, and I mean...
I was gonna, especially just because he gets to keep the mark token on Maddie, so...
I was about to say that as well. You know, he gets to keep the mark token on Maddie, and he might have just been in a position of thinking, well, Maddie's just taking damage turn 0. I might as well just try and push as much through if she's unwilling to block.
Mm-hmm. But of course, all that damage kind of seems to run out there with the Fruits of the Forest. So kind of undoing all that hard work that Maddie put in on that first turn. And it looks like we have the Waning Moon here. Notably, the thing this points out to me, despite the fact that we're seeing the Ponama amulet here, one of the 4 healing sort of items that we kind of see, is that we have Waning Moon here as a way to consistently deal damage or to pressure resources in Farah's hand, rather than the combo style, not Kraken's Ether Vein, the other one. the usual combo stick that like grows the next arcane damage kind of thing. Kind of suggests to me that Maddie's kind of willing to grind the life totals down and maybe not go for as big of a combo this game.
Ow. Crucible of Aether.
No, that's the Kano weapon, I think.
Surgeon
Aethertide?
of Aethertide?
That's the one.
Yeah.
Surging. Yeah.
Okay. Like, trying to remember all the wizard weapons. Oh, this turn looks a bit familiar.
In case we hadn't seen it before, here we have it again. But this time there is a card in Arsenal, so this is Command and Conquer a little bit more threatening. And, yeah, we're already using that arm piece as well, just to really respect this Command and Conquer. Go up to 6, make sure we keep that Arsenal. Interesting to see what she's maybe kept in her Arsenal. But, we could just get big, you know?
Yeah, it looks like we have a Cadaverous Tilling, getting a Decompose here. So Maddie is putting the first of her cards into the Banished Zone, and the soil count is at 2.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's on the screen also.
I have my way with editing.
So you can tell who edited this match.
Now we have that kind of critical numbers for the decomposition. We have, you know, ideally as the wizard, as any Earth hero, you want to go like 2-3-3, 3-2-2, any combination of those 3 numbers to hit the magical 8 as soon as possible. So Maddie taking a bit more of a reserved approach here, not going straight for the 3, just in case, you know, you do have to pivot off that 2-3-3 line, and maybe you have to go for 4 decomposes, because as we can see, she's left the Fruits of the Forest in the discard pile as well. Also notably that she does have the Plume of Evergrowth to get Earth cards back.
and we are going to have a block here from Farah's side.
And it wasn't just any block, that was a kiss of death, but it looks like she's okay with it, because here's another one. Kiss of death being pretty crucial in this Slippy deck. It's really what makes Flick Knives even more obnoxious. With having an additional on hit, being able to be flicked, being huge, so you can kind of make your opponent lose additional life with the Flick Knives, and you don't sacrifice your daggers that way. Kind of the real reason to be playing something like a Kiss of Death.
Yeah, I mean, it is. Sorry, I just lost my train of thought trying to identify what card that is.
It's a surgical extraction.
I am glad you're here, because that is too small and dark for me to have told what that is.
I mean, too dark and kind of small is like the majority of assassin cards, to be fair. You know, not the biggest attacks, but very grimy sort of art. But this is a surgical extraction. It's coming in for 4 here, and kind of threatening a card from hand and from the top of Maddie's deck. Now, the banish is mandatory, so there's a non-zero chance that you actually help them towards their soil count. But we're getting the full respect here. We've got the chest piece being defended with before the ability's online, and a Fruits of the Forest defense on this surgical extraction. Doesn't want to have to deal with any of the random banishes at the cost of the bark skin of the Millennium Tree.
Yes. Yeah, really interesting interaction between the soil count and assassin, where, as you pointed out, sometimes banishing cards off the top of your deck is actually beneficial for your opponent, for the Verdance player.
Mm-hmm. And just absolutely powering through these decomposes already. We've already got a soil count of 5. With 1 potion in play. And I think there was quite a few earth cards defended with last turn as well. Well, there was 1, I guess. Not including the chest piece, which is still in play. But, yeah. Plowhunter doing a great job of being disruption. Removing both players' arsenals in this instance. So didn't quite get the full unfair value of it, but still quite good value. And even though it's functionally a vanilla after the ability resolves, the damage is still respectable enough that, you know, you have to... It earned the double block. Quick thing to note about this game that I don't think we've brought up yet. Farah has access to Arcane Barrier 3 as well as Spell Void 3. Just really prepared for this big combo turn to go off later on. Meanwhile, Maddie hasn't really done so much arcane damage yet, but is content to kind of just walk these life totals down. It's kind of something we've seen with Verdance across the league and all of the games that we've shown that have happened to have her, which is quite a few at this point. You know, Verdance is really good at grinding the life totals down, keeping her life total fairly high, just to kind of get to a combo range or a point where maybe a Felling of the Crown can kind of take over the game and swing tempo.
Yeah, really good point. Looks like Farah is going to be able to go ahead and mark Maddie and attack with, I believe that is an art of it's the body one, yeah. I think.
There's a few camera issues here. The camera holder is sliding a little bit, as you can see. It's not an effect that I've placed while editing this video. But it does look very cinematic.
It is really cinematic. So we have...
Take up the mantle. So, the Hunter's Glaive hitting first gives the mark token to Maddie. She didn't defend that, which means that Farah can kind of save one of the daggers. Doesn't have to flick knives here to get that mark token to turn this Take Up the Mantle on. And that out of body is no longer. It is not a prognostic prognosis. Persuasive prognosis, that's what it is.
Persuasive prognosis.
I'm learning assassin cards. And, with that singular block, Farah kind of just making Maddie have the defense reaction there. But, she had it. And she got to decompose. The soil count is complete. We are ready for a full blooming garden.
Yeah, so, in regards to this blooming garden, talk to me a little bit about what Maddie has set up here on her side of the board with the potion of healing and the amulet.
Mm-hmm. Well, now that we have access to Verdance hero ability, she has text. Whenever she gains life, she deals instances of arcane damage. So all these potions are going to be dealing incidental points of damage, but in addition, the main combo that we're going with these potions is Rampant Growth. Now, I'm sure most people are aware by this point if you've been following along with Season 3, but Rampant Growth is a super powerful card that cares about the amount of life you've gained. Also, it incidentally gains some life, but it gives amp to your next source of arcane damage. This is inclusive not just of arcane actions that you may be playing, but also can trigger on Verdance's instance of 1 point of damage whilst her garden is in bloom. That sounds like a euphemism.
It does, yeah.
But, it means that you can kind of do some tricky things if you want to play around a... Can't remember the card's name, but it's like the snag for arcane actions. You can't do that on Verdance's triggers, so it's kind of a way to get that happening. It looks like there's an infiltrate that's hit in this case. And we have access to a sink below, which will be super powerful should there be like a big physical attack, which Verdance does have access to. But of course, Verdance can also play a lot of arcane damage spells and not necessarily do any physical damage in a turn. So we'll just have to wait and see how that lines up. In the meantime, we get a pain in the backside. A super interesting card here. Like, it's 3 damage can be blocked for 3, but it does mark the opponent should it hit. And we didn't see the block there, but we do have a... I should know this one.
Leave no witness. Leave no witness.
There we go.
I believe that.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
And a nice clean block there. Still marked, but we don't have the sort of marionette kind of issue or problem or solution, depending if you're a Farah or Maddie. But there's no marionette to switch into a different sort of arachne there. And here we see the fruits of Maddie's labor as she plays Heartbeat of Spring to gain some life and deal some arcane damage.
Heartbeat of Candle.
Yes, what did I say? Of Spring, didn't I?
Yeah. Heartbeat of Spring. I mean...
Is that a card? That sounds like a card.
I don't think that's a card. They could definitely make it a card. But I actually don't think that it's a card. So Maddie, going back up to 30, you're kind of undoing some of the damage that Farah has managed to break through. Oh, okay.
And here's the interaction I was talking about before, where, the arcane damage is kind of coming through, and then now we're using the Rampant Growth. This time it's not an action, this one is on the Waning Moon, however. But Rampant Growth kind of just being a super powerful card, and while I did describe it as a combo piece earlier, the headpiece, the Plume of Evergrowth, really kind of makes it an extension of the hand almost by being in the discard pile. So you don't mind getting rid of the first one just to chip away some damage and kind of walk the life totals down, like I mentioned before, if it means that it's now in your discard pile and not in your deck where you have to kind of wait for that pitch stack. It now means that if you draw one and you're ready, you can kind of go off.
And all Farah is able to do here is throw it a command and conquer. Of course, Maddie does not have an arsenal, but and Farah, I think notably did have to pitch 2 reds to send this command and conquer back at Maddie. Looks like we have a Ring of Roses block, but still a few damage leaking through. Again, the command and conquer is not threatening an arsenal in this case.
No, and I believe that's the 3rd Command and Conquer as well, so that arsenal is now pretty safe from Command and Conquer. Well, it would be if it wasn't for a Codex of Frailty. Notably, for the eagle-eyed viewers, they will have noticed that a Codex was pitched in the previous turn for Arcane Barrier. So that is 1 fewer to worry about, but there's still plenty more to come from his deck. And all the codexes that Farah has access to. I'm not actually sure how many that he's playing, but some number. At least 1. Probably 3. Maybe 4.
Yeah, I don't know how many he's playing either, but Maddie is sending a Cadaverous Tilling. I believe this is for 8 because she did decompose.
And she's now at that safe point where she doesn't have to decompose 3 earth cards anymore, so you don't have to be as aggressive to get earth cards. But of course, every time you're playing one that's halfway, 50% to your earth count for your decomposition, as long as you have additional actions to go in there. Wow.
Wow. Whoa.
Huge. So,
yeah, I would say so. That is double Savor Bloodshed, giving this dagger +8. On hit draw. Oh.
Yeah.
Maddie is not currently marked, though, correct?
Maddie currently is not marked. There is a Flick Knives here to mark Maddie. So, short of a Shelter from the Storm, this is pretty live to draw cards, and it's pretty difficult to block 11. Really kind of interesting here, like, if Maddie chooses to respect this and defend this one out, then Farah still has the ability just to attack with, like, the Hunter's Claves just to get that card draw, potentially, as well. So, kind of a weird position. The key thing to note that makes this specific line interesting is that because Maddie's not already marked, the Flick Knives will have to go onto the Hunter's Clave if he wants the Kiss of Death to draw the cards, which means that the Flick Knives won't be used on the Kiss of Death to get that bonus 1 life loss. But I think you're pretty happy if you are drawing 2 cards anyway.
Yeah, I mean, drawing cards is one of the best things you can do in this game.
Now, it looks like we've gone to the reactions. The Flick Knives has been used, so Maddie is marked, and that was 11 damage, just dealt. Draw 2 cards.
Was it? Yep, a ton of damage.
Maddie maybe deciding that it was too difficult to defend for 11 and then still defend out against the Hunter's Claves following that, chooses to just take that 11. Or of course there's potentially some no blocks as well with things like potions in the deck. There's a multiple reasons why maybe 11 was too difficult.
Oh goodness.
Unhelpfully for you, I think this card's in Japanese.
Yeah, I'm like, I
think it's Infect.
It is Infect as well. Which of course is going to create a blood rot pox token on hit.
And when you're at 15, it's a little bit more scary to kind of be taking those Blood Rot Pox tokens. Especially with this attack being 6 damage because of the Orb Weaver Spinneret. But looks like we're getting another decomposition. With this yellow root-bound carapace, just to make that a block for 6. Don't want to take that blood rot. And now...
It was a really powerful turn from Farah's side of the table.
Yeah, for sure.
But we will see what Maddie is coming back here with.
Pulsing Ether Life. One of my favorite cards in Verdance. Just a lot of value, gaining the life, doing additional point of damage. That was 5 arcane and 2 life gained. Sorry, 1 life gained. Respectable 2-card hand there. Just, again, keeping the life totals close. Like, you know, she did take 12 damage last turn. So the fact that she's able to kind of still be in the life lead because of that Pulsing Ether Life, pretty impressive stuff.
Yeah, I mean, that is just part of what makes Verdance so good as well. And I mean, with these potions of healings and amulet on board, Maddie is still presenting a lot of life. Maybe going towards what some people... Oh, I can't remember what word I'm trying to say.
No, for like, yeah, you're right. Verdance's life total is kind of fake in the sense that what you see there isn't really what it is. Like, we've kind of seen it multiple times where Maddie's dipped below Farah's life total, and then she was able to bring it back up slightly. These incidental points of life gain kind of being not deceptive, but not entirely truthful about the life total situation. But, you know, there is a cheeky E-strike here. I think Farah considered drawing a card and then realized that she already has a card in Arsenal and therefore won't be able to Arsenal it. So we're just going for the +2. Just.
Yep, I mean, yeah, 7 damage is still a lot of damage.
And we're seeing a premium defense reaction
Shelter?
there. Yeah, Shelter. Ideally, you kind of want to save those for like the Hunter's Claves and stop breakpoints, so on and so forth. But in this case, it was just the most efficient to defend for the damage still being dealt. But, yeah, I guess when you can throw 6 arcane damage back, you take that opportunity.
Uh, 6 arcane damage is a little bit difficult for Farah to deal with, even with these, oh my gosh, I can't remember. I don't know what's wrong with me today. I'm like half asleep or something. The assassin equipment that, of course, has the spell void and AB on it.
In your defense, you have just kind of woken up.
Yeah.
And I couldn't tell you the names of them, but I do know what they do.
Oh, it's like the widow ones. Widowback, I think, and Widow Web are the ones that he has on his side. And we have another E-Strike. Just going to be an E-Strike and pass. E-Strike is, I think, a really efficient card when it gets this late in the game, but oh my gosh, that is a felling of the ground.
Here we have the first felling, just to really buy the tempo back. This is going to force Farah to put a card on the bottom, obviously. Maddie happy to block with 2 cards in the previous turn, notably pitching a potion, but 3 is probably enough to close out the game should it get to that point. But, you know, when you're a Verdance, you're very happy when you can defend with 2 cards and then just pitch a blue, play a felling, take control of the game for this turn cycle at the minimum. And of course, it is threatening 67% of Farah's life total, so...
I almost had that percentage worked out.
But yeah, like I said, just took entire tempo of the turn. Farah was left with no cards in hand after defending that out, choosing to stay at 12 life rather than to throw something back. And like, I did mention that like Verdance's life total is kind of fake. In a very similar vein, Farah's life total is also kind of fake. If you go low enough that your opponent doesn't need to crack the potions during their own turn and can just kill you with Storm Striders during your turn, it's kind of a rough position to be in. But I think we're going to be starting the combo turn now. Now that Farah was left with no cards in hand, it meant that he wasn't applying any pressure towards Maddie, who's now able to keep a 4-card hand plus the arsenal. And she's moving at quite a pace now, gaining all this life, dealing instances of 1 arcane damage.
Yeah, and we'll see what Farah has in her hand this turn, but I mean, without any resource cards to pitch for AB, this will be very difficult.
Oh, it's back to Maddie's turn, so Farah does have a full hand again. But
I'm right, but Maddie's dealing a lot of AB, correct?
yeah. If you can see the words on the right, we're getting +8 on the net source of arcane damage. And there's only so much you can prevent, even through AB3 Spell Void 3. That's only up to 6 potentially. And this is a bad sign for Farah, as she has pitched a red to prevent 1 point of arcane damage on that Verdance life trigger. As you can see, there's still 1 Verdance life trigger that hasn't resolved yet, so I imagine that's going to be the recipient. It is the recipient of this combo turn, and that's 4 reds, which is really not what you want during this turn.
Yeah.
So despite the arcane barrier for 6 here, 17 minus 6 is still 11, and that's the end of the game. Sorry, I thought you were going to say something.
No, I can say something. Hello, we are back for kind of a little bit of a post-game breakup. I mean...
Don't leave me. Please don't leave me.
We're not breaking up. Pitch Perfect and Rainbow Pitch League are still going strong.
Your pod bombs are still together. It's okay.
A post down. Wait. A little post game breakdown. Hiki, please tell me some thoughts about that match. What went wrong? What went right? You know.
Well, in terms of what went wrong, I think it's kind of difficult to say. Like, nothing really went wrong for Maddie. Like, that was kind of the game plan executed to a T right there. She was able to play potions out real quick. She was able to play disruptive cards at appropriate time. Like, the plow under the early point of the game was enough to kind of pressure life totals a bit. Meanwhile, also getting rid of arsenal cards. Maybe we don't know what either player arsenaled in that scenario, but still a bit of disruption. Maddie deciding that the card in the arsenal wasn't good enough and rather than set up something else, and Farah just had to live with that, deal with that, block with 2 cards, and then of course that felling of the crown at the end of the game, absolutely backbreaking. Maddie applying again 2/3 of Farah's life total, and he couldn't do anything other than block with some cards to stop Maddie from ruining the life totals, I guess. And that was enough. Like, that window of opportunity where Maddie had the 3 potions, was able to play a rampant growth followed by another rampant growth thanks to the plume of evergrowth. Thanks to the earth headpiece. And of course, having access to the full 4 cards in hand meant that all the resources were there, it all just lined up. Yeah, everything went perfectly for Maddie in that game. Not to say that, Farah wasn't trying to stop it, of course. I guess that's what went wrong, right? Like,
yeah, I don't...
she drew reds.
I'm not... Yeah, we we did see Farah draw reds. We also, on Farah's side, didn't ever get to the point in the game where he was able to play have a codex turn. I also don't think that on the assassin side we saw a single like Bonds of Agony or just a Nick. Like these are very powerful cards in Slippy, and what kind of tips Slippy to being a bit unfair at points. And like play, you know, to win the game you kind of want to play a bit unfair. I'm not saying that in a negative sense. And we didn't get to see any of those cards from the assassin side. And of course, assuming they were in the deck, and he was hoping to draw them, but I think Maddie was able to apply so much pressure and set up her combo at such a fast pace and kind of close that game really quickly that we never saw these really powerful turns from the assassin, which we know that Slippy can
deliver
together. Yeah, deliver. Thank you. My brain today it's not clicking.
I think I might still have the brain cell, but yeah, you're totally right. Bonds, like, we're filming this just after the calling in a European city that I'm not remembering right now. Copenhagen. Where assassins were the talk of the town, and Bonds of Agony in the group, not the group chat, in the stream chat, YouTube chat, whatever, that card was like being thrown into the wolves. Like, people were saying ban this card, and like, while I may or may not necessarily disagree with the card being banned, like, it's obviously powerful enough that it changes the game. And like you said, we just didn't see that. That didn't come up. The codex got pitched for Arcane Barrier, and that's kind of a result of what I was saying earlier about not having enough blues to kind of prevent the arcane damage. Having to pitch your Codex of Frailty, if you're not going to stack, is unfortunate for assassins. So
yeah, really well played, of course, by both players, and we'll see both of these players' journeys continue throughout one more round of splits. And I believe that, you know, as we said at the beginning of the match, you do need to go X1 to top 8, so both of these players should still be live.
Perfect. Okay. Yeah. Well, then I guess we'll have to wait till next week, or maybe less than next week, depending on how soon you post these videos, to find out who exactly top 8s. But until then, thank you very much for watching. Make sure you check out our sponsors, and we will see you next time. Follow us on Discord and Twitter, and not Discord, Twitter and Blue Sky. Yeah, that stuff. Rainbow X Pitch. Do it. Bye.